Hey guys. Okay, this video is kind of a how-to for the June card project at our Facebook group Inspire, Laugh, Create. But basically it's for anybody. There are several people who I know who have said, oh, I don't make good cards, my cards are terrible, I don't know how. I don't know where to start. So what we decided to do for this month was I'm just going to do 2 cards. They're really pretty simple. I'll give you all the dimensions of what you need to do, and they're just basic cards, and they could be adapted for basically anything. I actually have a friend, she always makes her own cards. She's done it for years. And what she does is once she finds a design style of a card that she likes, she'll make 3 or 4 in that particular style or design. Some of these, like I said, you could use them for anything. It just depends on the sentiment that you put on it and the paper you use. And again, they're really pretty simple. There is one that has a few more pieces to it, but again, I'll give you all the dimensions. And then there's one that's just really simple. So let's go ahead and get started. So for both cards, we're going to do the A2 size, and that is the smaller basic size that most people make. Some people obviously make bigger ones, 6x6. I make those sometimes as well. But I figured for this tutorial, we would just stick with the A2 size, okay? So to begin with, for your card base, to get the A2 size, you just take an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock and you just cut it right in half at 5.5. Obviously it's 11, half of 11 is 5.5, so you cut it in half at 5.5, and you get 2 card bases out of one sheet of 8.5 by 11. Okay, so once you do that, you have this. Okay, and then what you have to do, and I know it's not going to come through on the video, but when you cut a piece of cardstock, it always leaves a bit of an edge facing down, obviously, from when you've put it through your cutter, because your cutter is going to, when it slices it, it's going to round it just slightly. Okay, now when you cut yours, please look for this, okay? And I'll tell you why. Because here you can really see it. Again, I'm sure it's not going to come through on video, but I can tell this is the edge, okay? That is the part that you want on the inside of your card, because you want the outside of your card to look nice and flush on your sides, your edges. So that's the piece that you want, that's the side that you want on the inside of your card, okay? So whatever you want on to be the inside of your card, you face down on your, oh Lord, score tool. So I have a big one. I have a 12 inch one, the big one. But for cards, it's just easier to pull this out. And my Martha Stewart actually has a 2 where you should score it. And basically it's at 4 1/4. Okay, so whatever you have, if yours doesn't show A2, you're going to score it at 4 1/4. Okay, so you're going to put it on there and you're going to score it. Again, the side that you want on the inside of your card to be the inside of your card goes down, and then you score it at 4 1/4. Okay, now with basic scoring rules, you always fold towards the mountain. Okay, when you score it, it creates a valley. This valley breaks down the fibers of the paper, the cardstock. Okay, you've broken down the fibers there. Let's get this out of the way. Okay, so you want to fold, because here's your mountain on the inside of your card. You fold in on the mountain. Okay, I always just, am I in frame? Yeah. I always just line it up as best I can and then take my finger and go out towards the folded edge, okay? Line it up again because I was looking at the camera. Okay, go out, and then I just do this. Yes, I do have a bone folder. If you don't, you use your fingers, you use the side of a scissor, and just score it. I mean, okay, fold it. So there's your card. There is your basic A2 size card. And again, you got 2 of these out of one 8.5 by 11. Now, with these, you can orient them this way, so they open like this, or you can orient them this way, and they can open like this, okay? Today, this particular card, we're going to orient this way so it'll open. Being the month of June, I decided to do a Father's Day card, so that's why I'm using the craft cardstock, okay? So for this card, again, I have the craft cardstock, and what you're going to need to do this card is 6 pieces of whatever cardstock you're going to use on the top. You need 6 pieces at 1.5 inch by 1 3/4, okay? The one, hang on, yeah, it's 1 3/4 wide by 1.5 long, deep, however you want to call it, okay? Now, another thing to remember when making a card, especially if you want to layer or it look uniform, you really, really, really want to use paper from the same stack, because usually everything will coordinate. Hence the reason it's in that stack together. Whether it be like a matte stack from Hobby Lobby, which those are like the square ones, and you'll see it says matte stack, or a 6x6 pad, or what have you. Those papers go together, okay? So you want to stick with papers if you're going to layer from the same pad or matte stack, okay? Today, for this card, for the Father's Day card, I'm going to use the Tim Holtz Ideology Destinations. Okay, so again, it's going to be 1 3/4 wide, okay, and I just cut one long strip from the 12 by 12 and then 1.5 deep, okay. So then what I did was I took my corner rounder and I rounded opposite corners, okay, so I made it look like this. All right, so again, I've got 6 of those. So then all you do, really simple, is you just decide, I don't remember how I had it, decide what order you want them in. Okay. So once you have the order that you want them to go down in, then you just adhere them. You can either pop them up with some foam pop dots, or you can just stick them right down to your card base as is, okay? When you do it, obviously, you want to make sure that your gaps on the top, the bottom, the middle, and the sides are all equal, okay? And so sometimes, yes, this does require some thinking as far as math, depending on the height and width of your card. Obviously, I did that for you guys today to tell you, that it's 1 1/4 wide by 1.5 tall, deep, whatever you want to call it, okay? So again, once you figure that out and once you get them in the layout that you want, you just adhere them to the card. So I'm just going to use some Tombow and adhere them. Again, you kind of need to really pay attention to your spacing. So I would get them laid out, and then once you lay your first one, you just obviously go off that. Okay. And this is really what takes the time. I mean, the preparation of cards, trying to decide what you want to do. But really, guys, it's not that hard. Go on, you know, for those of you who say, well, I never know what to make, I don't have any ideas, just go to Pinterest. I mean, just enter, you know, handmade, homemade card, whatever you want to say. And your tons and tons of stuff is going to pop up. You can get so many ideas of stuff to make off of Pinterest, which I know a lot of you already know, and I know a lot of you already know how to make cards. So again, this is really, not that you won't get any ideas from these, but this is really more so for those girls, those ladies who, you know, and I just totally jacked that up. See what happens when I talk, you guys? Okay, so we'll pretend I didn't glue that on the front. See, and I promise I'm not going to edit that out, so you're going to see this. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, so there's your basic Father's Day card. Again, then you'll just take your, you can do your sentiment right on front. I don't have a Happy Father's Day stamp, but another tip as far as if you don't have a lot of stamps with, you know, sentiments, print them on the computer on just regular printer paper. And what I do sometimes is, you know, I'll just take a regular piece of copy paper and I'll type them out on the printer, because there too you can do different colors. You just change the color of the font and you print them all out on here, and then you you either cut them out, or what I'll do is I'll adhere it to the whole sheet to a heavier piece of white cardstock, and then I just cut them out as I need them. So you have that to go, because you want to adhere it to the heavier cardstock so that when you put it on your card, it has a little more, it's sturdier, okay? So that's why you would adhere it to the heavier piece of cardstock. And then again, I just cut them out when I need them. So you could just stick your sentiment wherever. I need something. This one obviously says hello. But again, you could do this style of card with any mat stack, any paper pad that you wanted to change it up. Your different card base, you change the color, you do it as a birthday, a hello, or whatever that you want to use. And then obviously you would use a different size for your sentiment. This is way too big. But you could just put your sentiment down here over the two, like this. And it would just go down in the corner, and you know, you put your Happy Father's Day or whatever style of card you're making, and there you have it. There's your card. Okay, so there's the Father's Day card. Obviously you have to finish the inside with a piece of paper so that you can write whatever you need to write, but there's your first card, your Father's Day card. And again, you change this up to however whatever pad colors you want to use. Okay, so there's the first card. Okay, the second card, there is a little more, few more pieces to it, but I promise it is not hard. Okay, and again, I'll give you all the dimensions. For the paper that I'm going to be using, I chose the Dear Lizzie 5th and Frolic. So that's the paper that, for the different cuts, that's what I'm using. Okay, for my card base, I just chose a light yellow that coordinates with it. Again, I cut it out of the one sheet of 8.5 by 11 and scored it at 4 1/4 to make the A2 size card. For this particular card, we're going to orient it this way, so it will open like this. Okay, so to begin, once you figure out what papers you want to use, your first piece is going to be 3 inches by 3 inches square. Okay. Your next piece is going to be 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and I just took my corner rounder and rounded the corners. Okay, that's all I did was just round the corners there. Okay, then you need a piece that is 2 inches by 1.5 inches, and I will show you guys. I know some of you know how to do this, but I'm just going to show everyone how I do it. So again, 2 inches by 1.5. Then you need a piece that's 4 by 1.5. And then my piece for my sentiment, obviously it depends on the sentiment that you're going to use. But once I put the card together, you'll see why you want something at least this size, okay? And this piece is 2 7/8 by 1. And you don't want it a full 3 inches, at least I prefer it not to be a full 3 inches, but I'll show you why when we put the card together, okay? So the first piece that you're going to start with is your 3x3, okay? And your 3x3 is going to basically go on the side like this. Oops, in frame, like that, okay? So that's where you're going to put your 3x3 card, or piece. Again, you use whatever adhesive you want. But let me talk about adhesives. I'm going to get this on real quick and then we'll talk about adhesives as far as my opinion. Okay? And this is just my personal opinion. Okay? I got this, and I love this glue. I got the Scotch Quick Dry adhesive. Okay? I love that glue. But I don't love that glue for matting, making cards, and laying the first layers on, because it's going, no matter, it seems to me, no matter how much I do or don't get on the paper, the cardstock, it ripples the cardstock. Totally. You'll open your card and you'll see, you know, a little spot where there's a big ripple from the glue. And I will think to myself, I used my finger and I spread it as thin as possible. I know I did. And it still ripples. So I choose anymore not to use the Scotch Quick Dry adhesive to mat my cards, layer my cards. I did get the Tombow. I've had this for a little while, but I'm just using it because I got some refills till the refills are gone. It's the only reason I'm using it. And for me, and it could just be because, you know, I live in a hot climate, it seems to come apart after a certain period of time. There is going to be some part of the card that comes off. So, but I do like this, okay? I prefer score tape. Score tape is my absolute favorite. For cards, I just get the 1/8 of an inch. And I just use that for my cards, and it sticks really, really well. I also like for cards this Helmar's 450 Quick Dry. It does not ripple the paper. At least I personally have not had it ripple the paper, so I like that. Okay, so enough about adhesives. Okay, so we've put our 3 inch by 3 inch piece down. Okay, now as you can see, like I said, for this piece, the 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, I just rounded these two corners, and that's because we're not even going to see this side. Okay, so the thing about this piece is we don't want to adhere this side all the way, because we're going to stick this one just under it. Okay, so you don't want to adhere this side all the way. Can you stick this one on here and then adhere it? Absolutely, because again, we're just going to slightly overlap this one right in the middle of this piece. And honestly, that's it's harder unless you have like this 1/8 of an inch, or you can get your glue just right on the corner, which is not hard because you just run your Tombow or whatever. But if you're using wet glue, you want to really be careful. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to adhere this piece, this little banner piece, right in the middle, just underneath of this 2 1/4 by 2 1/4 piece. I hope that makes sense. I don't want to screw up again, guys, so I'm not going to talk when I'm trying to... Okay, so you've got something that looks like that. Okay, so then this piece, you're just going to adhere, not all the way to the edge, about 1/2 inch in, and it'll look like that. Okay, let me go ahead and do that. Put some adhesive on this side. Okay, so now your card looks like this. Okay, so let me go ahead and make this, because this one goes into a banner as well. Okay, so to get this, I know we all know how to do it. You think it's simple. For those who are a little stressed out about it, this is how I do it. Okay. I just do a cut right in the middle, up about as far as you want. I go about a 1/2 inch, okay? And then from each corner, you just go right in to your middle point of what you just cut, okay? Put my glasses on, sorry. Okay. Am I in frame yet? Okay. So then from the corner, you just go up to the center, and that falls out, again, this side from the corner. Angle your scissors, go right up to the center, and there you go, okay? On this particular one, we're going to do it on both sides. Okay, so find your center. Again, I go up about 1/2 inch. You can do as much as you want. Then from your corner, you go into the center. From your corner, you go into the center. Okay? Now, if you feel that isn't enough, if you want to, you're not sure if they look equal, which I don't think mine do, you just go up a little more. It's not that big of a deal. Oops. Not that big of a deal, guys. Okay? Good. I'm happy with that. Okay. So then this piece, okay, we're going to adhere to the edge of this. So it's going to look like that. Oops, like that. Okay, you're just going to take this one, adhere it right along the edge of that one. Okay. Okay. Obviously, again, you want to make sure you center it so it's the same amount at the top and at the bottom. There. Now our card looks like that. Okay, so again, here's my piece for my sentiment, and again, depending on what your sentiment is, how big it is, whatnot, your piece could be a different size. This particular piece is 2 7/8 by 1 inch. Okay, and again, I just took my corner rounder and I rounded the opposite corners. Okay, so then your sentiment, and earlier I said I didn't want it a full 3 inches because remember your bottom sheet, your bottom piece of cardstock is 3 inches, and you don't want it, at least particularly my personal opinion is I want it to be not symmetrical. So, and you're going to put your sentiment all the way to the edge of your 3-inch piece, and it's going to look like that. Okay? So let me go ahead and this is a rub-on. The hello is a rub-on that I have right here. And again, you're going to want to center that so that it is okay. And there's our finished card. I think that's pretty easy. Okay, I'll go over the dimensions again. If you wanted to embellish it any more, a couple buttons, tie a bow with some twine and maybe stick it over here, that's all up to you. At this point, whatever else you want to do to it, it's your prerogative. I just wanted to give you the basic design of a card that was a little different than, just, a full mat and what have you. Okay, so let's go over the dimensions one more time. The card size is your typical A2. The bottom piece here of cardstock is 3 by 3. Okay. This square piece here, this beige one, is 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. This piece here is 2 by 1 1/2. This piece is 4 by 1 1/2. And my sentiment piece is 2 7/8 by 1. Okay. So there's that card. Let's go over the dimensions of the little squares for this card. For this card, again, it's a typical A2. The dimensions of your little squares, you need 6 of them, and it's 1 3/4 by 1 1/2. Again, you've got 6 of them. I just rounded the corners, and again, I made this into a mail card for Father's Day. You can use any base color and any paper stack that you want to change it up to whatever occasion you would like. Okay, it's just a basic card. Again, I adhered these right to the cardstock. You can pop them up, which gives it a little dimension and looks nice. And you can just do a strip of your sentiment right over, offset it. Remember, you don't want it right in the middle. You want to offset it just a little bit as far as your sentiment. But there's your basic card. All right, guys. Those are the 2 basic cards that I made for the June card project over at our Facebook group, Inspire, Laugh, Create. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.